Greetings, Culturians, and welcome back to the channel. Today, instead of focusing on the emails, the infamous emails, I will probably mention it in another video, but I'm not going to focus on it. I'm going to wait till all of the dust settles, which there's plenty of dust, and we'll talk about it then. What I want to talk about is what you're here for. Elon Musk is not a huge fan of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, most especially its woke casting. And you know what? He's right, but we're going to talk about it, so here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, we are trying to get to 50K. I can do that with your help today, which means just look down there and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If not, hit the red subscribe button and turn it to gray. And hit the little thumbs up button while you're down there, along with that silver bell icon, and turn all notifications on. That way you don't miss anything, including all the live streams that I do each and every week, on top of, obviously, all the announcements I make in the posts. Now, let's jump into this because I think this is a story from two different sources, two different news sources that I think we can rely on. Elon Musk slams Nolan's Odyssey casting. Chris Nolan has lost his integrity. Now, let's be honest, that doesn't sound good. In fact, it sounds terrible, and that's why I'm not going to dismiss it. The story itself starts here. Elon Musk is the latest high-profile voice to weigh in on a growing controversy surrounding Christopher Nolan's upcoming adaptation of The Odyssey, putting people in roles where they couldn't possibly have been in an effort to woke cast this thing. You've got, well, at least so far, race-bending things. Do you have anything more than that? Quite possibly. Somebody has suggested that we're going to get a swap in the representation category that oftentimes just completely kills films. But that's just part of the story. Reacting to an X image revealing Lupita Nyong'o's cast as Helen of Troy, Musk simply stated, "Chris Nolan has lost his integrity." The comment came as fan criticism on social media continues to escalate, and that many are accusing the film's historical inaccuracy and pushing woke casting decisions, and that's just the beginning of it. As you can see here, there are many Twitter comments from various accounts and lots of things being quoted, and it doesn't actually work. The casting of Lupita Nyong'o as Helen sparks a massive debate. It's been shared widely across all platforms and across fan pages. It's become a flashpoint for critics claiming the casting disregards the source material and, of course, the times that were, actually historically relevant, at least in the real-world version of The Odyssey. So I would say there's a lot of weight on what people think about this before this movie even comes out. And there should be. We should be able to rely on historical accurate casting, but we can't because of politics. And even Deadline leans into this, having a conversation about this being maybe a bigger problem than a lot of people realize. We often have films fail for their woke efforts, and having them highlight that Elon Musk is mad at the thought of Odyssey's Helen of Troy being black. He's saying that Christopher Nolan's lost his integrity isn't incorrect, because he has. Chiming in on speculation that Lupita Nyong'o will play Helen of Troy in the star-studded adaptation of Homer's epic poem, which premieres on July 17th, so this summer, Musk questioned the writer/director's integrity, saying that it's clear that Helen in the book is fair-skinned, blonde, and the face that launched 1,000 ships because she was so beautiful that men started war over her, calling the unconfirmed casting announcement an insult to the author. Musk took aim at Nolan himself, and you know what? If this turns out to be true, it's not landing well. But there is some nuance or something that we need to point out. Although Nyong'o's joined the cast in November of 2024, her character in The Odyssey has not yet been confirmed. This is based on wide speculation. Although I will say that the source, Christy Mayer, is somebody who kind of knows what she's talking about and usually doesn't say much unless, well, she can make a joke about it and or pointed out to the hordes of followers that she has. An adaptation of one of the first stories in human history, The Odyssey follows Odysseus, which is played by Matt Damon, through the incredible trials and mythical encounters he faces on his decade-long journey home to his wife, Penelope. This premieres primarily in IMAX, and I think it holds all of those screens for a full month. So with Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Charlize Theron, Jon Bernthal, Benny Safdie, John Leguizamo, Elliot Page, Himesh Patel, Bill Irwin, Samantha Morton, Jesse Garcia, Will Yun Lee, Raffi Gavron, and Shiloh Fernandez, along with Mia Goth and more. That's an awful lot of star names to read for, well, one particular film. Back to comic book news, I'll just say that some fans have taken to calling her Helen of Detroit and questioning the logic of the war being waged over a character whose appearance contradicts traditional depictions. While defenders point out that mythological nature of the Odyssey and Nyong'o's talent, others argue Nolan is abandoned authenticity for modern Hollywood sensibilities. And I don't think there's any way that they can fight around that. Here's the bigger issue. There are a lot of characters that are set up to be misrepresented in this particular depiction. Adaptations always have a little wiggle room for dramatic license, but usually not in the historical categories that happen to be confirmable through reliable descriptions, and in this case, a very specific one by the author himself. Fans are questioning Travis Scott and John Leguizamo's involvement, who are, definitely about the wokest people in Hollywood you could possibly find. Not to mention that Travis Scott has been kind of hiding away for a while since all the controversy he created about, 2 years ago? Some fans are raising eyebrows over that rapper's rumored appearance, calling it another off-brand choice for the film set in ancient Greece. Not a lot of representation in ancient Greece, if you understand what I'm saying. John Leguizamo, who has a role in the movie, fueled the flames by doubling down on his political views and recently stated that if you support ICE, you shouldn't watch any of his work, which would include Nolan's The Odyssey. Now, I wonder, is that something Christopher Nolan wants to get out there in front of people? Having his cast start to tell people not to show up for this film? I think it's already going to have a bunch of hurdles in front of it, but do you think that was maybe a bad idea? I know I do, but those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know what you think about The Odyssey and the interesting cast choices and whether or not that could do the film harm in the financial department. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya. But maybe not watching Homer's The Odyssey by Christopher Nolan. Yikes.